Once we enter the system of district administration, the relation that we have with the public are very crucial. This is also one of the possibilities that we try to exercise in building the relationship. Without further ado, first of all I would like to invite my batchmate Diksha Langkasa, Indian Police Service, to please take the seat. I now invite Amang Gunapati Gurumayung to present Lengyan to Sri Diksha. Lengyan. I will just give background on Diksha. Me and Diksha, we had I knew her since my training days in the 98 foundation course back in the Lal Bahadur Shastri of National Academy of Administration in Mussoorie. We had the same foundation course, and obviously coming from the same non-eastern state, we used to hang out, we used to have, since foods were similar, culture were a bit similar, so we used to hang out quite. And she's originally from Assam. She not just cracked the UPSC CSC exam once but twice. Previously, she cracked the 2018 exam and joined the Indian Civil Account Service in of the 2019 batch. While in the service, she again prepared for the exam and once again prepared in the 22 CSC, and then she got the Indian Police Service, born on the Manipur cadre. She is the first lady IPS officer of her community from Assam. A big clap for Diksha. Now she's currently attached in the OC Khonsom as part of her district training. Again, now I would like to invite my dear batchmate, Jay Barange. He is an IPS officer of the 23 batch. I also invite Apung Nilachandra Maiva to kindly present a Lengyan to Sri J. Jay is also currently posted in Bhopal district. Now he is currently attached to the OC notebooks Sigmai as part of his DPT. He has not just cleared exams like UPSC, but he has, coming from a very humble background, he has worked very hard and has sailed multiple exams like the CAPF Assistant Commander and NET JRF. He has a background in physics and geography. The further details on his experiences on the various exams he will be detailing, and also in the meantime, please feel free to ask questions. And just to clarify, today I will not be giving any speeches, but in the meantime, if you have any questions regarding exam or training or anything, you can just feel free to post, okay? Because today I will be the moderator. So we will begin the session.
Hello.
I am excited, bro. Okay. I think I would like to see some energy from the crowd, because this is something that we don't get much, especially in the current law and order dynamics and also the tight and hectic schedules of a civil servant, right? Anyway, I would like to pass the mic to my batchmate Diksha to present few words on her preparation, and then we will again pass the mic to Jay, and then we will open the floor for questions.
Good evening, everyone. I hope
you don't find it boring, and I hope I'm able to give you some pieces of advice that will be very useful. So I've given this exam not once, twice or thrice, but I've given it 8 times. 8 is a lot of time, that means 8 years just spent in this. But that's also not true. My 8 years was not spent just studying for UPSC. So the moment I was eligible, my parents told me I should try for this exam, and whether I wanted to do it or not, I started giving this exam just because I'm eligible. And then the first 3 attempts were given while I was pursuing my masters. I was still not sure about what I wanted to do in my life. Choosing or trying to decide between doing PhD or going for a civil service or going for a private sector job. But then once my masters ended, I thought, okay, teaching or PhD was not my strength, even though I liked it. And I liked studying, so I thought, okay, the next best choice would be UPSC. I liked the idea of public service also. I wanted a job which could help people, and I also wanted a job which would be the best to represent my community. I also wanted a job which could place me in the Northeast, and if you want to live in the Northeast and if you want to do good for your people, there is no better choice than civil service, in my opinion, even today. You can become a scientist, you can go abroad, you can go outside, you can make a name for yourself, but to do something for your people, you have to be in that place. And that's when I was more convinced that UPSC was my calling. I am destined for UPSC. So after 3 attempts, the 4th one I cleared. There the only difference was that I really was desperate to clear UPSC because I wanted to prove to myself that I can become a civil servant. At that time, I did not care what my rank would be. I just wanted my name in the list of selected students. I just wanted to prove to myself that yes, I can do it. Until then, I was a bit confident that I could do it because I was always good in studies. So I thought, okay, I have an edge there. I was always, in the top 10 in my school. In my college, I did fairly fine. So I was confident about that. And that's where I was wrong in UPSC, because I was competing with a lot of students who were very good in studies. So me being good in studies did not give me an advantage. I did not pay attention to what the syllabus required. So at that point I thought, okay, despite all my mistakes, I was able to clear once. Whether I got a good service or a service of my choice, that did not matter. And after the 4th attempt, I thought, if I correct my mistakes, I will be able to get the service that I want. And then it took 4 more attempts to get the service that I wanted. It took 4 more attempts again because I was not properly focused. The 5th attempt I was giving while I was training in my first service. 2nd attempt, same thing. My attention was divided between UPSC preparation and training. And then the 6th attempt, the 7th attempt, I gave it, but it was a tough year. The vacancies were not that high, so I missed out by a few marks. And then the 8th attempt, I thought, okay, I can't keep doing this to myself again and again. It takes 1 year to study, to give the exam, to end the exam cycle, and I could not lose 1 more year on studying and then failing. So at that point, I fixed all my mistakes. That was one of my biggest mistakes, was that I never checked this syllabus properly. I had the capability to understand everything, to remember everything, to write everything. But if I did not know what I had to study, I was not doing the right thing. Second, I did not focus on my weaknesses as much earlier. One of my biggest weaknesses was that I was a slow writer. And in UPSC, you have to acknowledge your weaknesses and you have to accept that there are certain things that UPSC demands, and whether you like it or not, you have to accept what UPSC wants from you, and you have to deliver that. So UPSC wants us to write fast, UPSC wants us to be concise, UPSC wants us to know everything, and I had to be that. Earlier my approach was, okay, I study a few topics and then I leave the rest. And then, because I study a few topics very well, I'm able to give very good few answers, but that never worked. Even if I completed like 16 or 17 questions out of 20, it did not work, it was not enough. So I had to accept that, there's something that UPSC wants that I have no choice but to submit that. And then lastly, I was preparing for 6 years without any mentors or guides. I knew people who were doing UPSC, but I never liked talking about the exams because it's a very stressful exam. But that's where I was wrong. If I faced any problems in the preparation, I was just talking to myself or looking on the internet instead of talking to someone who was more experienced. So in my last attempt, I got a mentor who was a very good friend. And whatever I studied, I would share with that friend. Whatever practice tests I did, I would share with that friend, and I would get back comments, reviews, which really helped me in improving my attempt. So from the way I wrote my answers or from the way I prepared for my interview, that mentor is a big reason that I was able to clear and get the result that I wanted. So I work on your mistakes, and third, find a mentor. Arvind is here, we are here. We would definitely be able to help you because we have got that was here. And find someone who can guide you, hold your hand through the whole process. Because that's a very important part of getting over disappointment, getting over movement, which does come in 1 year in the study. I'll tell you more if you have questions. That's the short advices that I have.
So, I hope I'm audible. Tabra ma'am. Okay. So I have a question. Like you said, you appeared the exam like 8 times. And I know it can be very taxing, especially because I also were on the same foot. I mean, like, I remember preparing for UPSC and I had to appear for like 4 times. And that yours, I mean, there are students who have not even gone through the prelim stage, even after appearing multiple times, like 4 times, 5 times. What advice do you suggest, not just in the field of the UPSC, but also for those students and youths who are also preparing and struggling for different careers, like be it sports, film industry, arts, and anything? Like, how do you overcome your challenges, I mean, throughout the entire year, and how did you stay motivated? I'm sure you guys can relate to some extent in this case. Considering the fact that prelims is also very there, I think this will be a very good advice to all of them.
I think if you just want it a lot, and if you know you can do it, you are capable of it, then you should go for it.
For my phone.
So you should really want it. You should also be confident and realistic that you can achieve it. That was one motivating factor. I felt like, this is something that I can do it. And if I don't, I would be very disappointed in myself. And that's why I could continue putting in the same effort. So there was a little bit of realism and a lot of perseverance. Realism that I am capable, and perseverance that I have to give it my all to reach my potential.
No. Thank you. I think that's a very wonderful insight, and I hope Diksha mentioned something about perseverance and not the the idea of resisting something, and something that you always try to remember why have you started something in the very first place. And if you remember that idea even when you face multiple challenges, that's something that will push you definitely, no matter how hard it can be. So I'm sure that questions will be coming in, but just in the interest of time and all, I now would like to pass the mic to my batchmate Jay Barange, Indian IPS, to just brief a few lines on his journey of UPSC. And mic will.
हाँ इस अगर समझ नहीं आया तो उस टाइम पे यार ये तो टाइट हो गया
अभी लाइट फिक्स करने की कोशिश करें।
यार यहाँ से बताओ
मई किधर है?
क्लिप है
मई लाइट
ओके मैं खड़े होके इधर साइड पे बोल लेता हूँ
ओके हाँ
क्योंकि माइक नहीं है तो आई स्टैंड हियर एंड आई ट्राई टू कम्युनिकेट विथ यू ऑल मयाम्बू खुरुमजरी आएगी मूविंग जय कौए आई मध्य प्रदेश दगिनी ठीक है तो like I would like to give this talk in form of some life advices in from which you can learn the mistakes that I committed and the mistakes that you should avoid and some little bit of advices. So my first starting with my first advice, it is that every star has its own orbit. You all sitting here, you all have your own orbit, your own strengths and your own weaknesses. Not everyone is good in physics, not everyone is good in football, not everyone has good taste in music. So fine. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to identify your strengths and you need to identify your weaknesses. So when I was in my school days, I was not at all good in studies. ठीक है, बहुत ही बेकार था मैं. And I used to get around 65-70%. And the 10th में I got A, तो वो मेरे लिए बहुत boost हो गया था कि A grade आ गया. So I was very happy. And from 11th 12th I started studying well. And in college I did physics honors. तो वहाँ पे भी I used to study a lot then. फिर वहाँ से I got this habit of studying then. So I realized that I was not good in one subject. I was good in थोड़ा करके I can study multiple subjects. And that's where I thought that UPSC can be something which I can crack. Because it has, you don't have to go in depth of one subject. You have to study multiple subjects at a adequate level. So according to my strength, I decided that I am going for preparation of UPSC. Then my second advice would be, so this advice was first, you have to identify your strength and weakness. The second advice is setting a goal, which is very similar to the strength and weaknesses part. So my goal was cracking the civil services then. So in this process of deciding for a goal and then going again yeah. So in this process of deciding a goal and then going ahead, the most important part is conversation. So it is said that conversation is the beginning of change. So when you start conversations with like-minded people, with people who have cracked the similar examination, or like if you want to be a footballer, if you try to train under a person who is very good in football, you try to gather their skills, then that can definitely help you. So the second advice is conversation. Try to communicate, try to talk with like-minded people during that process. So like you all are sitting here, this is also that part of the same conversation. You are also trying to get something from us because we have gone through the same process. The third advice is when you start a target, when you start a goal, when you start preparation for that same, you may face challenges. But mind, my friends, challenges is the beginning of change. Whenever you start facing failures, whenever you start facing setbacks, that is an opportunity to bring change. If you don't bring change, you continue the same strategy, you will not improve. So whenever you get failure, whenever you faces challenges, that is the best time to bring changes in your strategy. And how can you bring change? Change can be internal changes. by yourself identifying or going back to the second rule, which is conversation. Talking with some person who has greater insights into this. The third part is going forward, like you can get failures, but you have to still stick to your target. You have to show qualities of patience, persistence, adamance. You have to be persistent towards your target. You have to get away with all the resistance that stop you from achieving your goal. Like I remember a quote that was there in our UPSC essay paper, that a ship is safe in harbor, but that is not what ship are meant for. You are safe. You have a very safe, comfortable environment. So you have to make extra efforts to overcome those resistance that stop you from achieving your goal, right? And the last piece of advice is, even after getting success, you may get, I felt that clearing UPSC was everything, but that is not the case. UPSC was just one part. There are multiple goals that you will have, but eventually focusing on one goal at a time will help you navigate, will help you sail through all the things that were meant for you. Personally for me, I felt that clearing UPSC was easier than doing the NPA training, because NPA training was literally one of the most difficult thing that I have encountered. But because of good friends, because of some positive attitude, I could do that. My batchmate Diksha was also able to do this. So eventually you will face higher magnitude of challenges. You will face different scenarios in your life, but that same attitude of, focusing one thing at a time, being positive, being adamant, talking with the like-minded people, making friends. And in this part, one of the most important role is of your friends and family, right? So you have to maintain a good relation with your friends, with your family, because eventually in your low time, they will be there for you always. Like my friends, my family were always there. And I am here, I say this in front of you all, that I'll always be there for you. If you require anything from my side, any type of suggestion, any type of advice, I'll be here for you. I am in Manipur, so I'll be definitely there. And thank you so much. And आगे भी कोई questions if you have, you can just talk to me. Okay. Start here.
So basically, just to summarize, I Manipurida haipatang summarize tong jarake ko. It's Manipurida haipatang summarize tong what Diksha and Jay has said. Diksha na highlight ko, like from the values of persistence, perseverance, hard work, planning, divided focus, speed about all. At the UPSC PhD, my mental clarity like that. Again, there are three important things I got. So first important thing is we talk about conversations with like-minded people, communication about. For example, just like we are doing today, what you has a like-minded see Manipur there is some but focus on the mental clarity. Dumay ko na kung conversation sa pa ako pa like-minded wakal sana pa wakal tira pa ako thoda apo ये करना ba kun ba kuch ba hai idea of unity hai ko with like-minded people aduga je na hum ke no sa we all come from different backgrounds other people we amanga have different strengths and weaknesses other than sabi strength weakness amanga padare assess ba padare evaluate ko sima amge loge hai. Then he also talked about changes, the internal changes, external changes. Again, he also emphasized on the role of friends, family. Today, just want to ask one question to Jay. That today he also emphasized the role of friends and family. So today's interaction that we have on the idea of parents come student interaction. So basically, Jay, we all came from the other side. And I'm sure you must also have realized the role of parents and family while preparing for an exam like UPSC or even in fact for any form of career. So what, in your opinion, as a successful bureaucrat, what do you think that how parents should deal with the failures encountered by an aspirant or any students per se?
Whenever you try for something, there are only two things. Either you can successfully pass that thing, you can get the result that you want, or you may not get the result. But whenever you do any effort, these two possibilities are always there. So as parent, first thing, you should motivate your child, not for the outcome, but for the process. The process is, person, even if you don't get what the desired result is, you will definitely learn. You will definitely improve. You will be better than what you were previously. So parents should also not pressurize, not put extra demand, but at the same time, students should also have a little consciousness of the efforts that their parents are making. So that's what I said. Even before setting a goal, the analysis of strength becomes very important. Right? You cannot just set a target which is beyond your reach or which cannot be achieved, which is very difficult. Right? So that's where a good coordination between student and parent becomes important. Right?
Okay. Mic chala gaya? Okay. So anyone from the crowd who would like to pose any question? And the first one who raised the question will get a chocolate. I mean, you can take, I will pass on the mic and just introduce yourself, about a little bit about yourself and where you come from, and what standard you are, and then.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alani. I'm a Joseph. Today, I would like to ask a question to President Mr. Silverman. My question is, many people say interviews are more challenging than real examination.
क्या बोले इंटरव्यू से मोर चालू
Since knowledge can be gained only in a short time, but interviews require long-term practice. So, in your experience, what can you say and how much true is this statement?
It's a very good question. Interviews for me was knowing myself, right? I wanted to portray in that 30 minutes my best qualities to the panel, right? So my basic agenda of interview was not just about my knowledge, but personality. And personality for me is knowing myself. So, like I am just repeatedly saying the analysis of strength and weakness, that's the same thing for me. Knowing myself is what I am good at. So, if I am good at certain thing, I wanted to show that part only to the interview panel. So, for example, if they ask me certain question which I was not well aware, in my mind I had this calculation already that these are the aspects that I don't know, and not everything I can always analyze or I can give time to. So, for instance, there were certain parts in my interview which I had no knowledge of, and I humbly said that to sir and ma'am, that sir and ma'am, I want to, at present I have little knowledge about this, and I definitely go back and read about this. So that's where I think confidence comes. Confidence comes when you know yourself, when you have, when you believe in your capabilities. So that's where it is a long-term process, because this analysis of yourself cannot come in one day. कि आज मैं बैठता हूँ, today I'll sit and I'll see कि मुझे क्या आता है. It is a process, है ना? When you give time during this preparation, prelims पढ़ते हो, mains पढ़ते हो. For example, मैं prelims clear नहीं कर पा रहा था, तो 2 बार मैं prelims ही clear नहीं कर पाया. One time I was not able to clear by 0.6 marks, and once I was not able to clear the C side in the initial attempt. So that's where फिर मैंने धीरे analyze किया, this is the area where मुझे नहीं करना था. ये analysis करते करते confidence आया. Mains पे I was very sure कि मैं कर लूँगा, I can do this. That's where I think interview also भी long term सोचते I thought कि यार this is an area where my strength is, and I was able to score well in the interview, not because of my knowledge, but because of the confidence and trust that I had for myself. And even today, for the same thing, I have trust on myself because I know कि इतना मैं कर सकता हूँ. This much I can do, and this much I cannot. तो जो नहीं कर सकते, I don't focus on that. If I can't do those things, I'll not focus much.
Next question. Can introduce to you, introduce your name, your background, and then.
My name is Anjana Raja, and I'm pursuing LLB. I have a question with Diksha ma'am. Ma'am, I want to know that what was the main distraction faces while preparation, and what was your main distraction, and how to
Distraction.
gain focus on preparation?
Distraction is something that, is one demon that follows every UPSC aspirant. And there's not just one distraction, there are many. So when I was preparing and my friends were already, having jobs and having fun, that was a distraction. So seeing them having fun and me just studying in my room alone, and that pulled me away from my focus. So, and how did I know that my friends were having fun? It wasn't through just talks, it was through social media. So social media was a huge distraction. Like, it's good, social media is good if you use it in the right way. But a lot of times you don't need Instagram, you don't need Snapchat, right, for UPSC preparation. So yeah, that was a distraction. Another distraction was that it was a distraction, but it was just the tiredness. When we study for long hours, people say we study for 16 hours, 20 hours, whatever. But that's not the truth. We have a limited focus anyway. So after like 50 minutes or 1 hour of studying, I would be very tired and I would look for distraction instead of anything actively distracting me. I would go out and see what is happening. I would go open the fridge and see what is there to eat, just because I was tired of studying for so long. So I think one thing is limit your interaction with the world when you are preparing, so that you are not affected by feelings of jealousy or feelings of missing out, FOMO. Fear of missing out should not happen. Second, realize that we have a limit to focus. So don't feel bad at times when you are losing focus. That is a sign that you need to take a break. Take a break for a reasonable time. Just because you're tired doesn't mean you stop studying for the whole day or you take a week-long break. So for me, the Pomodoro technique worked a lot. So Pomodoro is like you divide 1 hour into 20 minutes each, or certain time into fixed periods of minutes, and then you study for that time, and then you take a break, and then you get back to studying for that much time. So I would study for 20 minutes, take a 5-minute break, and then go back to studying for 20 minutes. At times it became like studying for 40 minutes, then taking a 20-minute break, and then coming back. So I had to recharge myself, and if you are human, you will be tired, you will need to recharge, you will want distractions. Choose what to distract yourself with. I would call my parents because I was living away from them, or I would just watch a 5-minute music video or an episode or something. So some healthy distractions are good, and if you are getting too distracted by something, find out why. But it's normal to be distracted. Just learn to control it.
Thank you, ma'am. And I have one more question with Sir Jilsa. Sir, please suggest one book which we can, one self-help book or something which we can have entire preparation.
To be honest, मैंने UPSC के I have not read any other book than UPSC. I am very bad in reading books. I watch a lot of movies, but I am not.
Then
like,
one movie, please, sir,
a
please.
movie for like motivation.
Yes.
I like Three Idiots. It's a good movie.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good evening to everyone present here. Good evening to our Yamba Arvind and Ma'am Diksha and Sir Jay. I'm Nathuka Panasan of Singapore Thomaikai and I'm currently going to be in class 12 now. And I have some few questions on my sleeve. So my first question would be to Ma'am Diksha. Ma'am, I want to play UPSC and I want to become an IAS officer. It has been my dream since like class 1 maybe. And I'm currently in science stream. And I also want to crack NEET and pursue MBBS. Is it possible for a student to pursue MBBS degree as well as to crack UPSC exam? So if it is possible, then could you please give us some advices on how can we deal with the different two levers? That's my first question.
Okay, so it's very good that you want to become a doctor. That means you're already smart. So that's giving you an advantage. So you can do MBBS, you can become a doctor and then... A lot of people have done that and a lot of people will continue doing it. So don't worry about that. My only advice would be is to enjoy what you are doing when you are studying for MBBS. Focus on that so that you are good, you turn out to be a good doctor. And after that, take a break and that is when you prepare for UPSC. But at the same time, when you are studying to become a doctor, don't lose interest in the rest of the world. Your whole world should not be about human anatomy. Okay, you should be interested about geography, history, politics, international relations. Keep in touch with what's going on in the world by reading the newspaper. So that is more important than choosing a stream which is suitable for UPSC.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And to Sir Jay, here's my question. So, my question is that who is a civil servant and what should be his attitude towards his citizens and what are his duties in the society?
Civil servant, according to me, is a problem solver. Is a mediator between a problem and a solution. So as a general citizen, we may have a lot of problems, right? Ki ye garbage yahan kyun pada hai? Why is this thing? Why are we seeing a lot of this type of vehicles moving around? So there can be a lot of problems in your mind. But civil servant is one who not just identifies those problems, but then tries to find solution for the same, right? So that is civil servant, and for being a good civil servant and what qualities he or she should have, according to me, first he should be he should have good awareness about his surrounding. He should have empathy towards the citizen. He should be sympathetic and empathetic. He should have integrity so that he uses the best of his resource. He should have skills of team management, right? Because it's not always an individual's work. You cannot change the system by yourself. You need a strong support, and that support is your team. So you should be a good team person. These are the qualities that I think.
Thank you, sir. And then to Yamba Arvind, I always wanted to ask this question. Yamba, what are the habits that I should inculcate from now on so that I can be a good person, a good civil servant, and to also crack the UPSC? And also please give us some advices about how to live in ourselves using social media and stop procrastinating. How did Yamba Arvind restrict all those distractions during your preparation, and how did you focus on it while you see your friends enjoying their life? And that's my question.
Thank you.
I think you can move, sir. I happen to remember a story. It's basically it's an interaction between the late Honorable President APJ Abdul Kalam and one very good young citizen just like you. And then that student asks the Honorable President, who can be a good president of India? Should he be a politician? Should he be from a civil servant, a retired IS, retired IPS? Or should he be from someone who has a very good career in sports, film industry, or someone who connects with people? Then I think the late president, he paused for a moment and say that a good president is nothing but someone who has a very good and kind heart, right? I think that summarizes the answer to the entire question, like how can I be a good citizen or how can I be a good civil servant in future? Thamoy se phaba, someone who is good in heart, someone who is very compassionate, someone who has society ki building like right? Someone who has strong family roots. My friend they emphasize on the idea of making groups with like-minded people, talking with community, helping, working with the society. I think if you yourself align with these values, right, starting from your family, your society, your education, I think there's nothing more than that, and that will define not just a good civil servant, but that will also, at the end of the day, will also define how a good citizen you are and how a good son you are to your parents. That's the most important thing. Second question, the role of social media. I think my friend Diksha has already summed up on how to restrict the use of phone and digital. It's not, it has always its advantages and disadvantages, but at the same time, being a mindful person, you should be able to regulate yourself in the way how you conduct yourself in the age of internet. I remember using phone, laptops, and internet service very extensively during my preparation. And without those, I think I would not be able to crack the exam also. Right? Because all the materials, all the resources, you can available in free in Telegram, in WhatsApp, in WhatsApp groups, or in coaching websites and all. So you should be able to regulate yourself in the way how you use your internet and social media. So rather than restricting yourself, I'm not using just try to block your time, right? For 1 hour a day, I will be browsing internet. 1 hour, I can browse something which relates to my education or something which relates to my assignment. Or 1 hour, right? We also need break at the same time. Entertainment time, right? And that's why the role of parents would come in. And that's why you see, parents come to student high say, right? You are under 18. All as a young student mama pa content what contents they have been exposed. Regulate and then rather than completely restricting phone or internet or social media regulate. And I think I know you are a very dedicated, bright student, and I'm sure that you will take this advice, and I'm sure you must be understanding also. Completely, just like to give my own example, I never restricted myself from any social media or any internet. I just regulated by blocking my own time. So, any more questions? We'll take few questions and.
Good evening, respected sir, ma'am, and to all the crowd. My name is Jasupanta and I'm from Kwakatil, Akam Lekai, and currently I have completed my graduation. And so sir, statistically speaking, sir and ma'am, statistically speaking, we know that the amount of UPSC aspirants who crack every year is not even 1% of the total experience. And my question is that through all those failures, the weights of the books, fatigues, and through the pressurizing responsibility in the family as a person who have completed the graduation. Did you ever felt that dilemma of whether I should keep going till I crack this exam, or I should stop here and try for other means, as this exam depends on luck? So my question is that what made you keep going through all those years of struggle and through all those fatigues and failures, sir? Ma'am.
I don't think I will be able to give a good answer for you, because, yeah, I did face that dilemma about contributing to the family or not. But then I decided, no, I had to be selfish, and I told my brother to support the family. You know, I thought I owed it to my family to become a civil servant. I felt that more strongly than to help them financially. So they didn't complain much when I did not help. And from my end, I just felt like, I will try to support myself instead of being dependent on them. I did feel guilty that I did not help them out, but now I'm fine. Now I feel like it was worth it. And how did I support myself? Well, I chose cheaper resources, free online resources. I borrowed money from people who could lend. They were friends only. When I cleared mains, or when I cleared prelims and the Assam government was giving scholarships to those aspirants, then I claimed them. I claimed it twice, I'll say that. So twice I... side and help them out. But if you're not in such a condition, then go for your ambition.
And I would like to hear I would like to ask the same question to Sir Arvind. Sir, how did you?
Can you just repeat the question?
Yes, sir. As told by Sir, that Sir went through 4 years of struggle to crack this exam. So my question is that how did you went through all those years of failure and fatigue and the weights of the books that I must crack this exam? That what kept you keep going for this kind of determination, sir? That's my question, sir.
That's actually a very good question. And I mean, see, in my opinion, on hindsight, I think that the last attempt, which I also cracked, I think this is not a standalone attempt. One attempt ki result not table. Maybe it's a combination of the previous failures as well. If I didn't fail previously, I might not be cracking the 2022 attempt as well. And that's a saying, right? So, nung pa kam lebo ko. So, you hit like once, then you hit for the second time. You hit it again for a third time. And the fourth time, it finally cracked. But does it mean that the stone cracked because of the fourth time only? No. Hanegi, first, second, third, natra. So yes, definitely during the entire process, I faced a lot of challenges. FOMO was there, just like Diksha said. Whether you are missing out on something, whether are you missing out on the trends that is going on. Your friends, your batchmates have, excelled in different careers. They have started earning, supporting their family. You're still preparing for the exam. So those kind of insecurities were also there. And I'm sure that every aspirant today can also relate, right? Because as you grow, as your attempt increases, your age also increases, right? And then, this is a reality, right? This is something that we have to face. Aduna, I think all the conversation that we had, it's all connected. Jay was talking about having a good support system, good like-minded, right? So in my case, I had a very good support system. Ibang manong ko, family obviously play a different role. Without my family members, I will not be standing and sitting here today giving you advice to all of you. Without them, it would have been an impossible task. Secondly, your friends, your mentors, they also play a very important role. Thirdly, just like Jay also said, that you need to assess your strengths and weaknesses. What kind of mistakes have you committed previously? And assess you assess it. You conduct a SWOT analysis, right? Your strengths, your weaknesses, what opportunities you have. And even if you are financially struggling, give coaching classes to students. I also get coaching classes to my neighbors, and that way I was earning. And just like Diksha said, once you crack the prelims, luckily there are government support also. I also got a scholarship from government. So me and Skidamina self-finance katang tobog nga pa. So to a certain level, you have to work very hard, right? So that day, on the last day of Yakshan Nimitta, me and Diksha went for an interaction program. Diksha grew up in Delhi, right? You grew up in Delhi. And obviously, being a Northeasterner, growing up in Delhi, it's a different story, right? Foods were different, cultures were different. You have to face a bit of some challenges. That kind of challenges, you find mechanisms how to overcome all of that. In that way, parallelly, you can say the same thing for you, right? Nang hujik challenges then, so if you focus on something, I have to crack this problem, because when you are a civil servant, you definitely have to be a problem solver, right? Decision maker work na. Aduna hujik adugi values inculcate to ba sada loina ga thamba ko adum wakhan jakhan ba. This is the problem that I'm having. How to crack it, how to solve it. Or I preparation to the smiley bra or anang ba mayok na ba. How do I overcome it? I'm pretty sure the entire universe will conspire something to overcome all of that. Adum thiba kalo, wakhan khanda kalo, and write your problem down in a diary, in a notepad. And if you start writing, it means that you have solved half of the problem. Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Just in the interest of time, and we will wind up the session on 4:45. So we will be taking the questions, a few more questions, and we'll try to wind up the session in around 15 minutes. And don't worry, we will conduct the next episode. Obviously, not in due course of months. Yeah, please introduce and.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Miss and Sir, for interacting with us, coming here and taking time to interact with the aspirants. My name is Yuhen Bachingtham, and I'm from Kanchipur, and I've completed my master's from Manipur University, and now I'm full-time aspirant of civil service. So I'd like to pose two questions to Miss and Sir. So we all have known a bit about both of you, Sir and Miss, so I'd like to dive a little deeper into your personal lives. So the question is that, how were your daily routines like in your whole preparation days? And sometimes it's very hard to focus, especially this is the festival season. Even yesterday we had one big festival, so it's sometimes we don't get to do all the goals we prepared for the day, and so it's difficult for us. So how to overcome this? And second question is that how does it feel like being posted here as a IPS officer in violence-torn state like Manipur, which is going through a rough stage, and like were there instances where you use your critical thinking into practical works? So that's the question. Thank you.
Your first question was like about distractions only.
Not really distractions, but
Can you explain it better?
I'd like to know, like how from the day, from the time you wake up and from and till.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So my daily routine would be just for studying. Like I would study at night and sleep in the morning. So because that was the only time when there would be less distractions, like not enough people calling or anything, and things would be more quiet around my house. My neighbors would be quiet at night, so I would study at night. I think I would start studying by 4 p.m. and then again 4 to 5, then 5:30 to 6, 6:30, then 7 to 8, then have dinner, take a break. So and then I would go on to study till like 2 a.m. So, and in total I would be studying for like 4-5 hours only, because I took a lot of breaks, and that was sufficient. It was more important that in the time when I was studying that I was really focusing and not just looking at pages and turning pages of my books. And then I did make a goal. I did make like targets for myself. That was good for me to keep track of how much I'm done with the syllabus. And it was a mixed bag. Like 50% of the time I would be able to meet my targets. The rest of the time I would not. And I used to feel bad in the beginning, but then I just thought, okay, sometimes maybe I was too ambitious in my targets. Maybe I set the target too high, and so I didn't feel that bad about failing. I thought, okay, fine, I missed out some things. I'll do it the next day. And even though backlogs would keep piling up, it's okay. I was still making sure that I would do something extra the next day. So instead of like on one day finishing 10 things, if I finished just 8, I wouldn't feel that bad. The next 2 I would do some other time. And it's so taxing. Giving UPSC itself is so it's so stressful that I decided I'm not taking stress about other things, like not meeting my targets. As long as I was moving forward, I would be satisfied with myself. So, in case you're struggling with meeting your targets, then just make sure that, okay, you'd miss out on day 1 or a particular day, then make sure you cover it up in that week only, so that what you miss out does not pile up. And in festival days, again, don't study the whole day, but don't enjoy yourself the whole day. Otherwise, you will regret both things later. So, yeah.
Just like to add a little bit, I was personally very harsh to myself. If I have fixed something, so I want to do this target, right? So monthly target set. First thing is set monthly target, because UPSC always gives its next schedule in prior in advance only. So prepare your strategy accordingly. Make monthly targets, then monthly say weekly targets, weekly say daily targets, and set realistic target. Don't be over ambitious. And jab tak ye targets complete na ho, till the time it is not completed, just go for it. Keep on pushing yourself. And always remember that if your purpose is bigger than your pain, then your purpose will win, right? So if you have a strong purpose to clear this examination or any other thing, you will definitely excel in it. As far as your second question is concerned, working as an IPS officer in Manipur, so yes, it is. It's a different kind of experience. It's interesting. It's challenging. And at the same time, it's very engaging also. Engaging in all terms, physical, mental, everything. But as it is said that like we make our choices and our choices makes us. So if you make strong choices, if you make good choices as an IPS officer working here, then definitely your choices will make a good character out of you and everything will be solved. And this is my advice to you all also, that in this difficult time, don't be in haste of, getting indulged in any other distractions, because this is a critical time. This is a tough time for Manipur, and particularly for us, for us
for all of us. So let's be very confident that there are certain principles that we'll adhere to, that we want to stick to. We want to maintain the integrity. We want to maintain the the good things that this state has, and don't indulge in other form of activity. This will be my suggestion as well. And we are here. We will be definitely working for you all. And
just last 2-3 questions. I think she wanted to ask a question.
Good evening. I'm Tharo Yumnao from Singjamai Yumnao Mekai. I have finished my graduation last year. I want to ask 2 questions, but my first question goes to Ma'am Diksha. I was told that masters is really important, but I made a decision to not go for masters. Is masters really important for UPSC?
Masters is not important for UPSC, especially if what you are going to pursue your masters in is not the same as your optional. Okay, suppose you're doing an MA in history, but your optional is anthropology, then MA in history is not going to help you much, right? So in giving the exam itself, it's not going to help much in many subjects, but later on in your life, it could. Like once you become a civil servant, if you want to pursue certain postings, then a master's is preferred. So you take a call for yourself. If you really want to clear UPSC young, you can skip masters and do it later after clearing UPSC. Or if you're not confident about clearing UPSC, do your masters and then go for UPSC.
And my last question goes to Sir Jay. I have problem with polity, so how to memorize polity and to make polity a little bit easier.
PSIR was one of my favorite subjects, although I opted geography as my option. But for polity, personally, prelims point of view, polity questions are, well, they are the part that I feel is scoring. So you should give more time to it. You should just focus on one source, whichever it is. Lakshmikant, for me, it was Lakshmikant, and one of the notes that I got. So these 2 sources like I had, and I just used to keep on revising those same things. UPSC questions are more analysis based. Even in prelims, there are certain questions which are factual. So you should never miss factual questions if they are from polity, like easy questions. And I think around 16 to 18 questions comes in prelims from polity side. So you should have a good command in polity, give more time, revise from the same source. And also you can see some good videos that are there on YouTube. Polity whole analysis chapter wise are there. And then there are also certain areas from where more questions are asked. You can just keep on analyzing the previous year question paper. You can buy a book of Disha publication of previous year question paper. And for me, like particularly, I relied a lot on previous year questions of UPSC prelims because most of the time the questions gets repeated in different form. Although the main thing that they ask is the same, but the essence is same, but the wordings can be different. So just have a good analysis of previous year questions, not just by words, but by reverse thinking, like why is this only the answer of this particular question, right? So इस way में you can just minimize कर सकते हैं कि we can eliminate these things. And for mains, you can have just short notes from various sources like mains 365 and what all things are there in the current affair. Mains में polity से mostly 5 to 6 questions are only asked in GS paper 2, so it's not that much. And most 2 questions उसमें भी most of the time are factual, like what's the difference between this and this, what is this power of president and something like this. So that is very easy, and analysis part of it you can get it from current affair portion, right? Just keep on focusing on area which you think you are weak at, right?
Just in the interest of time, we will be taking the last one question. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. First of all, I would like to say thank you and I appreciate for such kind of initiative because community building is something that I believe would have a great impact. This is an open question. So I want to talk about some real issue that I faced and I believe many of the young students in the front row would be facing when they start their preparation. Many of my friends, even now my juniors, they focus on, for example, polity for the whole year. And me myself, I would say I have given some few attempts, and I would say that my previous attempt would be a preparation that it was not fully prepared or something like that. So, and I believe that many of the young students, I have learned my lessons, and I believe that many young students would be facing the same problem. So I would like, it's an open question, so I would like you to give some insights about the seriousness that they should have if they come to save some attempts and that there some years. Thank you.
I don't know what to say. For me, at times I felt like I was not serious, and I will blame that only for all the attempts that I gave. So I think I am a good example that if you're not serious, you're going to spend 8 years of your life giving this exam. So, you know, like people who I started preparing with, they are already seniors, they are already 4 or 5 years senior than me. Sometimes it feels a little bad that these are the people I started out with. But I just tell myself, okay, fine, at least I got selected later. So save yourself from all that trouble, you know. Be serious because time is precious. It's not going to come back. You are still, even if you're not studying seriously, you're at least studying. And then everyone else starts hoping that, you know, you clear, you get the results of your hard work. And then when you don't, it will really hurt. So I think just save yourself from that. For me, I thought, okay, I wouldn't mind if I failed. I thought what I got the first time, that was good enough. It was only later that I felt like I could do better. I want something better. So listen to others when they say that you can do better. Listen to others when they ask you to work harder, get serious. Listen to others when they say that, you know, you have to give up some things in order to achieve what you have the potential to do. It's not a fight between you versus the world when it comes to seriousness. If someone is giving you good feedback about how you are studying, take it in the right way. Review and reflect, you know, whether you are doing justice to your time, to your parents' expectation. And when you are studying, you're not doing anything else, you know, most likely. So you're making a loss on, your future income also. If you're not working and you're studying and you're not studying enough to get a job, you stand nowhere. So I think we have to be very scared when we think about studying casually. Like, I wish I was much more serious before. I wish it didn't take me this long. So it still stings a little. So save yourself. Listen to me, you know, and save yourself and be serious while studying. It's not, even when you clear, you will still have that feeling of regret that I wish I had not made these mistakes. So yeah, it's not a good advice, but it's not positive advice, but then you have to be scared about, wasting your time because it's not going to come back.
I would like to have a question to Sir J. Barangay IPS. So, how do you think police forces can do to improve its relationships with public, especially in terms of trust and communication? Let's take an example. In the present context of Manipur, the relationship between the police forces and the public is not very good to resolve the problem. Even if we become an IAS or IPS officer, what is the point that we are becoming an IAS and not serving our country properly? So that's my question.
That's again a very challenging question, but I'll say this that the actions of any situation is on the basis of cost based.
So, like it is said that if any wrong thing happens, it will be successful only, but make sure that nothing wrong happens. You have to be focusing, and you have to be on your foot every time. So, present situation of Manipur demands an extra carefulness from side of police, which sometimes even I feel that infringes the rights of citizen. But this is extraordinary situation. This is not normal. You would have seen this that like in the before 2 years these things was not practicable here, or not even in other part of countries like in Madhya Pradesh also. This is not practiced. The type of policing is not this what it is here, and this is because of the situation. Extraordinary situation requires extraordinary measures to be taken. As far as building trust is concerned,
So what measures can be taken?
So as far as measures is concerned, the first thing is good interaction. As we are having, like you are openly speaking in front of us, giving again feedback. So I also conducted a lot of meetings in my jurisdiction. Rampur Sekbai, I have also conducted a lot of meetings with normal people, with villagers, and I have made sure that they come to police station whenever they face any grievances. I have initiated a feedback mechanism where if any police person does any excess from any public, like he demands something or he conducts in a wrongful manner, then I will definitely take greater action against him. These type of mechanisms we have initiated. But like according to situation, presently there is this requirement for extra carefulness to be shown from police part, which is hurting the police sentiments also. Even I have also talked to a lot of seniors about these things, but then eventually, when the situation improves, you will see better coordination with police, and I am duly taking your suggestion, your concern, and yes, I'll make sure अगर तुमको कोई problem face होता है, you can just tell me, or how जितने भी यहाँ पे लोग बैठे हैं, if you face any problem, you can definitely contact, and if we don't take any action, then you come to me, I'll initiate whatever can be done, right? So we have to build this thing again. We have to build Manipur again. So this requires a resilience from police side, and this requires a support from public side.
Thank you, sir, and have a nice day.
Good evening, sir and ma'am. My name is Taiju Aliyachani. I'm currently pursuing Master in Home Science. My specialization is human development. I have a question for Sir Arvind. Sorry, I'm quite nervous. So the question is, sir, I was eating lunch, hearing Sir's interview in radio, and Sir was talking about sir na ISK exam tha matanda ISK para tha I think para prepare daw na sir master daw na ay ang master sa luri ang master matang sila ISK preparation daw matang sila kamana matang sila I think that's how say kamana matang kayo bi isi ban kayo
maybe I think what is very good. Masters I did distance, so I had enough time to manage my preparation. Just to give a piece of advice, when if you are, say for instance, you say master's degree, currently pursuing in science and specializing in human development. Nonetheless, even though you are pursuing masters or not, nonetheless there are some basic parameters of time management, because I think time management is something that you wanted to raise. It's actually about understanding yourself while you are actually utilizing your time, right? You might be having your own priorities. Even though I was pursuing masters from a distance, I had my priorities. My priority was understand the UPSC syllabus, understand the exam thoroughly, understand the process, and crack the exam. The rest of the things were my secondary things. So even in your case, if your main priority is cracking the UPSC, I would suggest you that just utilize your majority of your time to preparation of your exam. The rest of the thing can become your secondary. So so even in how you manage your time, like it's basic simple. Like you prepare your weekly plans, you prepare your daily plans, your monthly targets, and try to break it. And you make daily targets, you make weekly targets, weekly plans, monthly targets. Then you assess. Also, time in an exam like UPSC is not just about managing your time, it's also managing about your resources, right? So, for example, asking on how to prepare Indian polity, constitution, how to prepare geography, blah blah, and all of these GS papers, option papers, right? Then here comes the catch. Doesn't matter if you are reading 4 or 5 different books and if you are not able to solve 1, 2, or even a simple basic question of the UPSC. So, nanga paano resources to phazana khandu then you phazana sigi, for example, subject number ACT number resources to you prepare it efficiently and then you manage it accordingly with your time. Resources manage to not just about time. With managing your resources, managing your time, managing your energy, managing your focus. I think these are the important parameters. So now in your own context, now I'm pursuing your masters. Okay, now first year or second year? Second year, okay. Second year, good enough. And if you have plans to get this exam, second year you don't. So, for example, you really target a simple like, okay, on these days I will prepare for my master's course. So like remaining 2, 3, 4 days, I will prepare for my UPSC. Then you set your targets accordingly. Just like they were saying, understand your strengths and weaknesses. Then your strengths and weaknesses will come over. Since you have a background in human development, I'm sure that in economy, monetary, GST paper, you might be having in page, right? Other subject, for example, CSAT paper or technical papers, so you can go very then kind of priority focus on. So first, to summarize, manage your time, not just your time, but your resources, your energy, your focus, your mental attitude. Secondly, priority was set up for absolute clarity. That right now, you should be able to have that clarity. What is actually that I want to become? What after master, how many attempts will I be able to give? Like 3, 4, 5 attempts. Then the targets can go weekly, monthly. Then you understand yourself, right? Part of the just like we was saying, part of the preparation is knowing yourself. Then half of it is last question. Then we have to wind up.
Very good afternoon. My question is, I would like to ask one question to each member, Dixon and Jason. Dixon, in your 8 attempt, you go to account, and in your in 4 attempt. Then
Can you speak loudly?
in your 4 attempt, you go through UPSC account, and in your 8 attempt IPS. My question is, in your 6, 7, 8 attempt, how do you prepare your mains, your strategy for mains? And the same is also to Sir Jay, your strategy maybe for mains. Thank you.
For me, weights, the problem with weights was not what I was not studying enough. The problem for me was answer writing. I could not finish my mains tests on time. And both the practice tests, I would be able to finish like 70% of the questions, and in the final, in the actual UPSC mains, I would again be able to finish like only 15, 16 questions. So every paper I was easily giving up 1,800 marks, and that was a very bad loss for me. That's why even when I cleared once, I didn't get a good rank, and then later on I would miss out by 10 marks. So that means that if I was missing out on interview list if I was missing out from the final list by 20 marks, that means I was doing very bad for the services that I wanted. Right? So I realized that what I was doing was totally wrong. That just giving up 1,800 marks for each paper was like 100% success rate for failure. Okay? So it just assured that I would fail and that I would not get a good service. So I have to work on that. I worked very hard on improving my writing speed, changing the way I write my answers. I looked at the answer scripts of the toppers that were released online, and the last attempt I gave that I cleared, I saw Shruti Sharma's papers. She was the topper for 2021 civil service exam. So I looked at her answers and I compared how I was writing, how she wrote, and I saw what a big difference that was. And I tried to copy her style as much as I could. For around 5-6 months, that's all I did. And mains is the only reason. My mains course, that too in general studies, is the reason that I am here. My interview marks actually dropped from my earlier successful attempt. So it was only what I did for mains, that is improving my writing style. Not studying extra or anything, but improving my writing style. That helped. So that's the only thing I would suggest. Look at what the toppers are writing. They are doing something right. It's because of that they are getting such great marks, and learn from that. See what they are writing about, see how they are writing, how they are interpreting the questions. So I'll just summarize. 3 things I worked on for answer writing. I shortened my answer length. I used shorter sentences. And then I used more facts and figures to improve presentation and to reduce the time taken to present my views. And third, I learned how to interpret the demand of the UPSC. So I would look at the question and I would easily say what the answer has to be. I would not have to think, what to write or anything. I would not stray from the demand. So yeah, look at toppers' answer scripts and train yourself to write their way.
It's like to add, initially when I started the answer writing, the first problem was prelims, so I could not clear 2 times prelims. और उसमें once I missed by 0.6, once missed by CSAT. So for me initially the struggle was to clear prelims. एक बार prelims हो जाए फिर मैं मजा करता था, exam first time में निकाल. But this was my mindset. Well, once I cleared the prelims, I realized that there are more challenges in mains. So the 3 phases में this happens. In the first phase is like the romanticism. Like I'll write the best answer, best possible answer in the world, right? So I'll criticize the topper's copy. क्या लिख रहा है? What is he writing? This is asked. Why is he writing like this? And I'll take 20 minutes in writing one good answer and I'll think, wow, I'm writing so good. But when I wrote my first full-length paper, I was not able to complete 14 questions. 20 questions are there, I was not able to complete 14. So the second phase hit me, which is the phase of reality. Okay, this is the real test. To write relevant thing in that specific time limit. So second phase में जब reality hit करती है, in the third phase, then you start practical thinking. Then you write, then you improve continuously with writing. So you just don't think about, like football player, if he starts thinking, on my first day I'll play international, this is not possible. Start with these local clubs, where then you can go, then you can progress. Same thing as in answer writing. You cannot write a good answer in your very first attempt. But it is very important that you keep on practicing. Keep on writing, improve hoga, and then try to inculcate some facts, figures, data that makes your answer different from what others are writing. And eventually, in that 3 months, it is very, very possible.
I'm really sorry that, in the interest of time and the demand that the situation arises, we have to run this session. I extend my deepest gratitude to my two dear batchmates for sharing such inspiring thoughts on the role of youth in today's society and an inspiring journey that they have experienced in the preparation of this exam. And their words have not only enlightened all of us, but also planted the seeds of purpose and the role that we all will exercise, not just as citizens, but as sons and daughters of the society. Aduga, Vedana, Asigi, Debiladiba, parents, guardians, Punaku, Kogi, Samaski, Yumpama, Weba, Moina, Asigi, Punin, House, Shumba, small initiative, Shinja, Vasida, Harana, Diana, support to be, Punin, Tokoti, Mukta, and Talago Punuche. Matung asigi first episode I got. And I should join in the labor. So the Pamaza, I should pay to again a color of my number to be like to say one son in that, but so because minor part of it, she is minor shin was some but there was a lot of coordination, right? So the me meeting, as in meeting like coordination pre-planning plus resources gathering plus the club president members support resources micro planning behind this my God, yang mai pai hai su kharati pungin depends ada mayam boring ko the brand khang hai when the point malu oi se like audience na I mean without you all sagu di pile ko but without the support of all of you the session se successful so around my support me ko matung ta su an na sin ma ko se aina su lekai sigi it's a mo ko office na office ko na keeping that side Atlas Mina, we put up community spirit, community building on Sakaka, one you buy over, some traffic, or some Canadian, a toga, Aduga, Matuga was a city calico, atomic pong, sports, QO, art, and the Sumayam, the support of you, Aduga, Adutsa, some Santa, I think Bora can talk. Anyway, jokes apart. Aduga loina finally maru ba asigi MTD already asi to MTD se MTD na sponsor to mi bani ko asigi aina buy no mic ke order chakuri legi everything aina aduga loina na asigi apagi sigi leiba community hall se lei drama phamong mai bam chau thoi ko ma na leiba mayam ki aidi society ki donated his. First, then I just want to remind that this land is not a state-owned land. This was actually donated by late Maibam Chowthoi to assist the society in conducting such small community engagement program. Like Ishmaina still saw Dan program maseko. Like the Hawaii na show pangana thapatu jaba aduga lapiba mayam ko ma lection people ko nila chandra lagi bumunogi mama kenalile gunapati aduga experience mayam tungi yung merelo mayam ko mayam na so ihan na